Elon Musk's latest comments have ignited a firestorm of debate after he called for sanctions against Julius Malema, leader of the economic freedom fighters. Musk accused Malema of openly inciting violence against white South Africans after Malema sang the controversial struggle song, Jubel Ibhunu, at the EFF's 10th anniversary rally. The tech billionaire took to his platform, X, to express his outrage, declaring that Malema should be recognized as an international criminal. His remarks have since fueled widespread discussions, drawing reactions from political figures, activists, and the public at large. Malema wasted no time responding to Musk's accusations, dismissing them outright. He defended the song as a historical liberation anthem rooted in South Africa's fight against apartheid. He argued that Musk, as an outsider, lacked the historical and cultural context to understand the song's significance. According to Malema, the song symbolizes resistance rather than a literal call for violence. The EFF leader has often stood by his use of struggle songs, insisting that they serve as reminders of past injustices rather than incitements to harm. This latest clash with Musk is not the first time Malema has been at the center of controversy over the song. Various South African organizations, including Afriforum, have long opposed its continued use, arguing that it fosters racial division and hatred. The issue has been contested in South African courts, with rulings that have, at times, favored free speech and at other times recognized the concerns about potential incitement. Despite this, Malema and the EFF have remained unwavering in their stance, continuing to perform the song at public events. Musk's statement has further fueled international discourse on freedom of speech and its limits. The billionaire's condemnation of Malema comes amid growing scrutiny of South Africa's racial dynamics. While some agree with Musk's assertion that Malema's actions are reckless and dangerous, others believe his intervention is misplaced and demonstrates a lack of understanding of the country's historical struggles. Many in South Africa see Musk's comments as an overreach, arguing that a foreign billionaire should not dictate how South Africans engage with their past. Critics of Musk argue that his call for sanctions against Malema is an attempt to exert undue influence on South African politics. They contend that Musk has little understanding of the complexities of race relations in South Africa and that his comments serve only to inflame tensions rather than provide any constructive solutions. On the other hand, Musk's supporters argue that his remarks highlight legitimate concerns about rhetoric that could potentially incite violence. They point to the broader implications of political leaders using inflammatory language, particularly in a country still dealing with the deep scars of apartheid. The debate has also drawn responses from legal and human rights organizations. The Anti-Defamation League weighed in, stating that while historical protest songs are an essential part of a nation's heritage, leaders must be cautious about using language that could be misinterpreted as a call for violence. The organization stressed that public figures bear a responsibility to ensure their words do not contribute to hostility or division. The controversy over the song Jubel Ibhunu is far from new. It has been a contentious issue for years, with multiple legal challenges and public debates. The song's defenders argue that banning it would amount to historical erasure, while opponents maintain that its lyrics perpetuate racial animosity in a country striving for unity. Malema, for his part, has remained steadfast, often using such controversies to bolster his position as a revolutionary leader unafraid of confrontation. His party, the EFF, has built its identity around challenging the political establishment and advocating for radical economic transformation. Malema's rhetoric has consistently been a key factor in the party's appeal to its supporters, many of whom feel that South Africa's current leadership has failed to address economic disparities rooted in apartheid. The South African government has remained largely silent on Musk's remarks, leaving many to speculate on how authorities will respond. President Cyril Ramaphosa has been notably quiet, despite Musk's direct challenge questioning his lack of action against Malema. Some analysts suggest that Ramaphosa is attempting to avoid getting entangled in a debate that could further polarize the country. Others argue that the government's silence reflects a reluctance to confront Malema directly, given the EFF's ability to mobilize mass support. Malema's ability to command large crowds and influence political discourse makes him a formidable figure in South African politics. His confrontational approach has earned him both staunch supporters and fierce critics. His use of struggle songs and radical rhetoric resonates with many who feel marginalized, while his detractors see his tactics as divisive and inflammatory. The EFF's official response to Musk's comments was equally defiant. The party issued a statement condemning Musk's remarks, accusing him of attempting to undermine South Africa's sovereignty and dictate its political discourse from afar. The statement reaffirmed the party's commitment to addressing economic inequalities and racial injustice, dismissing Musk's accusations as baseless and uninformed. The broader implications of this controversy extend beyond Malema and Musk. It raises important questions about the intersection of history, free speech, and political rhetoric. In a globalized world where social media amplifies debates, figures like Musk wield immense influence, often shaping international perceptions of political events. However, the extent to which their opinions should impact national policies remains a matter of contention. As discussions over Malema's use of the song continue, the legal battles surrounding its legitimacy remain unresolved. Afriforum, a prominent lobby group advocating for the rights of Afrikaners, has vowed to continue its efforts to have the song declared hate speech. The organization argues that political leaders should promote unity rather than division. Their case remains under appeal, with the court set to determine whether the song falls within the bounds of free expression or constitutes incitement. Meanwhile, Malema and his party show no signs of backing down. They continue to frame the debate as a struggle between historical justice and attempts to silence liberation movements. The EFF sees Musk's intervention as yet another example of external forces trying to dictate the trajectory of South Africa's political landscape. Public opinion on the matter remains divided. Some South Africans view the song as an essential reminder of the country's past struggles, while others believe it should be retired in favor of fostering reconciliation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should historical songs like Jubel Ebhunu be protected under free speech, or do they have no place in modern society? Do you agree with Musk's call for sanctions against Malema, or do you believe he is overstepping his boundaries? What do you think of the South African government's silence on the issue? How do you see this playing out in the long run? If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Political Spectrum and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this and other major stories.